All right, this is what we're going to be making today. It's 3 concentric circles. So let's go ahead and get started. Go to composition, new composition, 1920 by 1080, 30 FPS, and then 15 seconds is fine. Double click your ellipse tool, and in the ellipse path, uncheck this link, and we're going to do size of 900. And we're going to go ahead and hit Control D to duplicate this path on the same layer. So we have 2 ellipses on the same layer. On this one, we're going to change this to 750. So we have a smaller version. We have this outer ring, and then we have an inner ring. Then we're going to go to Add, Merge Paths, and set it to Subtract. And there we go. There's our ring. We're going to set it to 3D. And make sure you're using the Cinema 4D render over here. Also come down to render options and go ahead and bring your quality down to 1 just so it's easier to move around in the scene. We can raise the quality once we're done. Now roll down geometry options here. We're going to set the bevel style to convex, the bevel depth to 8, and then the extrusion to 100. Like this, and if we hit R and rotate, we can see now we have a extruded layer. So we're going to open this again, go to Contents. We're going to go to add a group here. Drag this group outside of ellipse, and then drag the ellipse inside the group. Make sure you have this group selected, and we're going to add a bevel color. There we go. Make sure you have group selected when you add that, or else it just might not work. This is where we're going to color specifically just the bevel. And we're going to change this to black for right now, the main color to black. Okay, so we can see what we're doing. Now there's one other thing we have to do. We'll set this back to 0. We want to make sure that the anchor point is in the right place. If we go to the top view, right here, you can see that it's on the edge, and we don't want it on the edge. So hit A for anchor point, and we're going to change this the Z to 50. So there we go, it's on the center. We're going to call this one red. Come back to our active camera. We're going to duplicate this. We'll call this one green. Go ahead and twirl it open. Under Contents, we're going to set this to the ellipse path, the first one to 650, and then the second one to 500. There we go, we have an inner ring now. Control that up, and then under the material options here, we're going to change this color just to green. Just pick a nice green. There we go. Go ahead and duplicate the layer, Control D, and we'll call this one blue. Control that open again. Under Contents, these ellipse paths, the first one is going to be 400. The second is going to be 250. There we go. Now we have a small one. And then under the material options group, we're going to go ahead and change it just to a blue. Any blue will do. There you go. Now we're going to do a little bit of animation here. We're going to go, let's do, for red, press R for rotation. And for the Y rotation, we'll create a key here at 0, and then at 6 seconds, we'll set this to 1. Under green, bring up rotation. For the X rotation, go ahead and create a key at 0, and then at 6 seconds, we'll set this also to 1, X rotation. Bring up the rotation for blue. At 0, we'll create rotation for the X and the Y. Go to 6 seconds. And for the X rotation, it'll be 1. And then for the Y rotation, it'll be -1. Just like that. Now we're going to add a null, layer, new null object. Link all these to the null. Then bring up the rotation for this. And at 0, we'll do X and Y. Whoops, make sure it's 3D. create a keyframe for X and Y rotation, go to 6 seconds, and they will both be set to 1. One here and one here. All right, that's our rotation, how this works. You can go ahead and change the colors to whatever you'd like. We can go ahead and add a Control Y. We'll add a black background to this. And if you want it to loop, which I have it set up to do, because all these keyframes are at 6 seconds, to get it to loop perfectly, just move back 1 frame, page up, and then hit N to change the work area. And now this should loop perfectly. And now if you're going to render, go ahead, come to render options and change. Go and bring the quality up to like 55 will do. This isn't a super long render. There's no reflections or anything. But yeah, that is it for this tutorial. Super easy. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment below. Thanks.